The human ship drifted silently in orbit around Lumina 5, the glowing planet reflecting softly on its polished hull. Captain Aaron stood at the observation deck, looking at the world below. Floating rivers, crystal forests, and the ruins they had explored glimmered in the twin suns' light. Lyra stood beside him, her hands folded, eyes wide with curiosity and wonder. This place. It's still so beautiful, she said softly, her voice musical, but limited in words. Aaron smiled. It is, and we've only seen a part of it. There's more to discover, more to understand. Lyra's glow pulsed faintly as she tilted her head, considering his words. She had come a long way in understanding humans, and humans had come a long way in understanding her. She touched his arm gently, a quiet gesture of trust. The rest of the crew gathered around, still amazed by Lyra's presence. Scientists discussed her abilities, trying to understand the energy she could control. Soldiers marveled at her courage in the ruins, and Aaron quietly observed her, noting how she had grown comfortable in their world without losing the essence of who she was. We need to prepare for our next mission, Aaron said finally. We've learned a lot from this planet, but we can't stop here. Lumina 5 has more secrets, and we need to study them carefully. Lyra's eyes brightened. She seemed to understand the excitement of exploration. She moved to stand beside him, her glow reflecting the stars outside as the crew made plans. Aaron noticed something unusual on the observation screen. A faint energy signal was emerging from a distant area on the planet's surface, pulsing in patterns, similar to Lyra's own energy. Look at this, Aaron said, pointing. It's coming from deeper in the forest. Could it be another of her kind? Lyra tilted her head and moved closer to the screen. Her hands hovered over it, tracing the patterns of the signal. A soft glow spread across her body, brighter than before. She seemed excited but cautious. Aaron studied her carefully. If there's someone else like you here, maybe we can learn even more. But we have to be careful. We don't know what's waiting for us. The crew prepared an exploration team. This time, it included only Aaron, Lyra, and a small group of scientists. They descended to the surface, landing near the location of the energy signal. The forest here was even denser, more alive, as if the planet itself wanted to protect its secrets. Lyra led the way, her instincts guiding them through the shifting crystal paths and floating rivers. Every step she took seemed to harmonize with the environment, keeping the group safe. After several hours, they reached a hidden valley filled with luminous plants that pulsed in rhythm with the energy signal. At the center of the valley stood another alien figure smaller than Lyra, but glowing with the same gentle light. Its eyes were curious but cautious. Lyra stepped forward slowly. "Hello," she said in her soft, musical language. The other alien responded with similar sounds, and a faint glow connected them both. Aaron watched in awe. The two aliens circled each other, communicating without words, yet understanding each other perfectly. "It's incredible," Lyra whispered. "She's found someone who understands her." Aaron nodded. "And this means there may be others. We need to document everything carefully. This could change how humans understand alien life." The new alien began to follow Lyra, moving with the same careful steps she had used with humans. Aaron noticed how Lyra guided it gently, showing trust and friendship. She looked back at him, her glowing eyes reflecting both excitement and reassurance. Over the next few days, Aaron and Lyra explored the valley together. The new alien whom they named Soren learned from Lyra as she had learned from humans. They discovered plants that responded to energy, rivers that floated without support, and ruins filled with symbols that seemed to tell stories of a lost civilization. During one exploration, a minor danger emerged. Floating crystal shards began falling from the canopy, triggered by a sudden tremor. Lyra moved quickly, guiding Soren and the humans to safety, her glowing body lighting the path. Aaron caught her hand and helped her navigate a tricky jump across a river of liquid light. "You're amazing," he said, smiling despite the danger. "Not just beautiful, brave, smart, and kind." Lyra's blush returned, glowing faintly. She tried to speak but only produced musical sounds. Aaron chuckled. He had learned that her expressions often said more than words could. As they continued, they uncovered an ancient chamber filled with glowing murals. The symbols depicted aliens similar to Lyra and Soren living in harmony with the planet. They showed humans arriving in distant worlds, teaching knowledge and learning from the alien civilizations. This is history, Lyra said. Scanning the murals, it shows cooperation between species learning from each other. That's amazing. Aaron looked at Lyra and Soren. It's still happening, he said softly. We're part of it now. The humans. And you both. This is how civilizations grow through trust and friendship. That evening, the team set up camp under a glowing tree. Lyra and Soren sat together, their bodies emitting a soft light that lit the area. Aaron joined them, sitting quietly. The twins of the planet shone above them, and the floating rivers glimmered below. You know? Aaron said, this planet taught me something important. It's not just about discovering new places or creatures. It's about understanding, protecting, and respecting life. That's what makes humans strong and beautiful. Lyra's glow brightened, her small hand touching his lightly. Soren mirrored her gesture, creating a soft, harmonious glow around them. Aaron realized that this simple touch trust, connection, and acceptance was more powerful than any technology or weapon. The next day, they returned to the ship with samples, scans, and records. Scientists were amazed at the discoveries, and Aaron briefed them carefully about Lyra and Soren. The presence of another intelligent alien emphasized how much more there was to learn. Lyra explored the ship cautiously, fascinated by human technology. She watched crew members work, mimic gestures, and even seemed to enjoy music, responding with soft glowing pulses. Aaron watched her with pride. She was learning, adapting, and thriving, not just surviving. In private moments, Aaron and Lyra shared quiet conversations. Words were not always necessary. A look, a gesture, or a gentle touch conveyed what they felt. He told her again, softly, "You're very beautiful, and I mean it in every way that matters." Her glow brightened faintly, her small smile showing that she understood. Words were unnecessary. Trust, admiration, and shared experiences had built a bond that transcended language. Weeks passed as the team studied Lumina 5 from orbit and through expeditions. Lyra and Soren became more comfortable with humans, exploring not just the planet, but the connections between species. Aaron realized that humanity's curiosity, courage, and kindness were being reflected back through these alien friends. One evening, standing on the observation deck with Lyra and Soren, Aaron looked out at the stars. "This is only the beginning," he said. "There are countless worlds, countless lives we can meet, and together we can show that humans are capable of friendship, trust, and courage even in the farthest reaches of space." Lyra's eyes glowed, and Soren mirrored her glow. Together, they reached out, touching Aaron's hand and each other's. The gesture was simple, yet profound, a symbol of unity, understanding, and shared purpose. Aaron smiled, knowing that the bond they had built would endure, no matter the dangers or distance. Humanity had discovered more than a new planet. They had discovered friendship, trust, and the beauty of connection. And somewhere far below, Lumina 5 glowed softly, as if acknowledging the promise of new adventures, new friendships, and the endless potential of exploration. In the quiet glow of the observation deck, Aaron said softly, "One last time, you're very beautiful." Lyra's cheeks glowed brighter. Soren's light pulsed gently, and Aaron knew that their story, one of courage, trust, and friendship, was only just beginning. The forest of Lumina 5 was alive with quiet energy as the twin suns rose again, spilling light across floating rivers and crystal trees. Captain Aaron, Lyra, and the team continued their exploration, venturing deeper into the alien ruins. The air was charged, not just with the planet's natural energy, but with anticipation. Something ancient was stirring beneath the surface. "Do you feel that?" Aaron asked, placing a hand on a glowing stone. The hum beneath them had grown stronger. Lyra nodded, scanning the area. "The readings are off the charts. Something is active. Something big." Lyra's glowing eyes shifted toward the ruins. She moved cautiously, her small hands brushing the stones as if feeling for danger. Aaron stepped beside her. "We'll stay together," he said softly. "We can handle this together." They pressed forward into a vast chamber inside the ruins. The ceiling soared high above, crystal pillars reflecting the sunlight. At the center lay a dormant structure, massive and alien, pulsing with faint energy. The ground trembled slightly with each pulse. Suddenly, the energy surged violently. The structure began to crack, releasing a loud roar that echoed through the chamber. A massive creature emerged, towering, armored with crystal-like plates and glowing eyes that pierced the light. Its multiple limbs moved with surprising speed and precision. Orin's heart pounded. "Everyone, stay calm. Move carefully." The creature advanced, its gaze fixed on them. But Lyra stepped forward. Raising her hands, she extended her connection to the energy of the ruins. The creature paused, its glowing eyes flickering. Aaron realized that Lyra was communicating not with words, but through the planet itself. "Be careful," he whispered. "Don't provoke it." Lyra's glow brightened as she moved closer to the creature. The ground beneath her pulsed in rhythm with her movements. The creature hesitated, then lowered its head slightly. It seemed to recognize her presence. Aaron understood quickly. She's not just protecting herself, she's protecting us. She's calming it. But the creature wasn't entirely pacified. Its claws scraped the crystal floor, sending shards flying. One sharp piece headed straight for Aaron. Without thinking, he pushed Lyra aside and took the hit himself. The shard grazed his shoulder, leaving a painful cut, but he remained on his feet. "You're reckless," Lyra shouted, rushing to check him. "I have to protect her," Aaron said through gritted teeth. He turned back to the creature. "We need to end this safely." Lyra stepped closer, her glow intensifying. She touched the creature's crystal armor, and the pulsing energy seemed to synchronize with her heartbeat. The massive being lowered itself completely, its limbs folding as if surrendering. Aaron took a deep breath. "Good job," he said softly. He stepped forward, placing a hand on Lyra's shoulder. "You're amazing." Lyra blinked, a faint blush spreading across her glowing face. For a moment, she looked uncertain, then tried to speak. Only a soft, musical sound came out. Aaron smiled, understanding her intent. The storm of energy passed, leaving the chamber quiet again. The team let out a collective sigh of relief. "You saved us all," Aaron said, still catching his breath. He looked at Lyra with admiration. "Not just me. Everyone." She looked at him, her glowing eyes shining. She reached out a small hand and touched his. It was a gentle gesture, full of trust. Aaron held her hand for a moment, feeling the bond between them strengthen. After a few moments, Aaron said softly, "You're very beautiful, not just in your form, but in everything you do. Your courage, your heart." Lyra's cheeks glowed brighter. She tried to form words, but only soft, musical sounds emerged. She looked down, shyly, hiding her face with her hands. Aaron chuckled softly. "You don't need words. I understand." The team began to leave the chamber carefully, following Lyra's guidance. The planet itself seemed calmer now, as if acknowledging the balance restored by her presence. Outside, the glowing forest stretched endlessly. Aaron helped Lyra over a floating crystal bridge, careful not to disturb the delicate balance of the landscape. Together, they reached the edge of a cliff overlooking a vast valley filled with bioluminescent plants and rivers of liquid light. Aaron turned to Lyra. "You see what you've done? This world, it's alive because of you, and you've helped us survive it." Lyra blinked, her glow softening. She stepped closer, and for the first time, she spoke a clear word in her own language. Aaron listened carefully. Lyra translated after a moment. She says, "Thank you." Aaron smiled warmly. "You don't need to thank me. We're a team." Lyra tilted her head, studying him. Then, slowly, she said another word, a soft, hesitant phrase that seemed to carry meaning beyond translation. Aaron felt a warmth in his chest. He didn't fully understand, but he sensed it was a bond forming, a trust deeper than words could express. As they made their way back to the team's ship, a faint energy portal appeared near the ruins, a natural gateway, shimmering and inviting. Aaron studied it. "This must be a way back to the human ship," he said. "It's perfect timing." Lyra looked at the portal, then back at him. She hesitated. Aaron noticed the hesitation and stepped closer. "You can come with us," he said gently. "I promise. Nothing will harm you." Her glow brightened faintly. She reached out and touched his hand again, then moved toward the portal. Aaron smiled. Together, they stepped through. On the other side, the human ship awaited. The crew rushed to greet them, surprised to see Lyra fully present. Aaron introduced her carefully, explaining everything about her abilities, her courage. In the bond they had formed, Lyra observed the humans, curious but calm. She had seen their kindness, their determination, and their respect for life. Slowly, she began to mimic some of their gestures, smiling when Aaron did. That night, under the stars aboard the ship, Aaron and Lyra stood together at the observation deck. The vastness of space stretched endlessly before them, a reminder of the adventures yet to come. You know, Aaron said softly, the universe is full of mysteries. But some of the best things are the connections we make. Trust, friendship, admiration. Things like that matter more than we realize. Lyra turned to him, her glowing eyes reflecting the stars. She reached out, touching his hand. Then, softly, she said a word in her own language. Lyra translated after a moment. She says, "You too." Aaron felt a warmth spread through him. He smiled. "Thank you, Lyra. That means more than you know." For the first time, Lyra seemed completely at ease. She had crossed worlds, faced dangers, and discovered trust in humans. And Aaron had learned something equally important, that humanity's courage, kindness, and curiosity could touch even the farthest reaches of space, connecting hearts across species. As the night passed, Aaron and Lyra sat quietly, looking at the stars. The human crew went about their tasks, but the two of them shared a moment that felt timeless. No words were needed. Trust, admiration, and a sense of wonder bridged the gap between human and alien. And somewhere in the distance, Lumina 5 glowed softly, a living reminder that courage, friendship, and kindness could thrive anywhere, even on a strange world full of mysteries. Aaron realized that this was only the beginning. Together, he and Lyra would explore new worlds, learn from each other, and show humanity's best qualities not just to their own kind, but to the universe itself. And in that quiet, glowing moment, Aaron said once more, softly, with a smile, "You're very beautiful." Lyra's cheeks glowed faintly again, but this time her smile was clear, her words unnecessary. The connection between them, human and alien, had grown stronger than any danger, greater than any adventure, and brighter than any light in the universe. The next morning, the twin suns rose slowly over the glowing forest of Lumina 5. Their light shimmered across the floating rivers, casting reflections that danced like fireflies in the mist. Captain Aaron and his team prepared to explore deeper into the alien world, but this time, Lyra was moving with them. She followed closely, mimicking Aaron's gestures, her glowing eyes full of curiosity. "Ready?" Aaron asked, glancing at his team. "Always, Lyra," the biologist replied, adjusting her gear. Lyra tilted her head, her soft, luminescent hands mimicking Aaron's wave. The gesture made Aaron smile. Her understanding was growing quickly. They walked through a dense forest, where the trees seemed to hum faintly as they brushed past. Small creatures with transparent wings darted around, leaving trails of soft light. Lyra's eyes widened with wonder, and she reached out to touch one. The tiny creature shimmered and disappeared, leaving a trace of sparkling dust in its place. She looked at Aaron with a mix of surprise and delight. "See," Aaron said softly, "everything here reacts to life. Even the smallest touch can make a difference." Lyra nodded, trying to smile, but her glowing blush returned faintly. Aaron realized she was learning not only through observation, but also through feeling the reactions of the world around her. As they went deeper, they reached a clearing with ruins half buried in glowing moss. Ancient alien architecture stretched into the sky, covered in strange symbols that pulsed gently with energy. "This place is incredible," Lyra whispered. She began taking notes and scans. "There's so much history here. This civilization, it must have been very advanced." Lyra walked slowly among the ruins, touching the stones lightly. Energy seemed to respond to her touch, faint pulses traveling through the walls. Aaron watched carefully. "You have a connection with this world," he said softly. "It's like it listens to you." Lyra looked at him, her eyes reflecting the soft glow of the ruins. She seemed to understand his words, though she couldn't speak them yet. Her small smile was enough to show that she trusted him. Suddenly, the ground trembled beneath them. A low, resonant hum grew louder, vibrating through the forest in ruins. The team froze. "What is that?" Lyra asked. Her voice tensed. Aaron raised his hand. "Stay calm. Let's see what it is." From the shadows, a creature emerged. It was large, with multiple legs and glowing eyes. Its body was covered in crystal-like armor, reflecting the sunlight and the ruin's glow. The team instinctively stepped back. Aaron moved in front of Lyra. "Don't worry," he said gently. "It's more curious than hostile, I think." Lyra stepped forward slightly, raising a hand. The creature paused, tilting its head. It seemed to react to her presence, almost as if it recognized her as part of the forest. The hum in the air softened. Aaron took a careful step closer. "Good job," he whispered to Lyra. Her glow brightened faintly, and she mirrored his movement, calm and steady. The creature finally turned and retreated slowly, leaving a faint trail of sparkling dust behind. "That was amazing," Lyra said, awe in her voice. She can communicate with the creatures here." Aaron nodded. "We're learning together. That's what matters." As they continued their exploration, they discovered a crystal river that floated in the air like a ribbon of liquid light. Lyra's eyes sparkled as she reached out, touching the glowing surface. The river responded to her touch, rippling gently and casting patterns of light across the ruins. Aaron sat nearby, watching her. He felt a deep respect and admiration. He remembered the first time he had called her beautiful, and how shyly she had responded. Now, he understood that her beauty was more than her glowing skin or eyes. It was her courage, her curiosity, and her gentle heart. "You're very brave," Aaron said softly, approaching her. Lyra blinked, a faint blush returning. She tried to speak but only produced soft, musical sounds. Aaron smiled. He knew she was learning to express herself. The team spent hours mapping the ruins and studying the floating river. Lyra followed every movement carefully, mimicking gestures and observing reactions. Aaron noticed how she learned quickly, understanding not just actions but emotions. As evening approached, a sudden storm began to form. The twin suns dimmed behind thick clouds, and the air filled with electric energy. Crystals around the ruins started to hum and vibrate violently. "Storm incoming," Aaron shouted. "Everyone, stay close." Lyra's eyes widened, but she didn't panic. Instead, she raised her hands slightly, and the crystals nearby pulsed more gently. As if she was calming them, Aaron realized she was using some form of instinctive control over the environment, a gift of her species. The storm grew stronger, lightning arcing across the sky. The floating river started to ripple violently, and some sections of ruins began to shake. Aaron grabbed Lyra's hand, holding it tightly. "We're going to get through this," he said firmly. Lyra squeezed his hand back, her glow brightening in response to his words. Together, they led the team through the ruins, avoiding falling debris and shifting crystal pathways. The team relied on Lyra's instincts and Aaron's guidance, and slowly, they reached a sheltered cavern. Inside, they caught their breath. Lyra sat quietly, still glowing faintly from the storm's energy. Aaron knelt beside her. "You did very well," he said softly. "I'm proud of you." Lyra looked at him, her eyes shining. She tried to speak again, forming a word in her own language. Aaron tilted his head, listening carefully. "It means, thank you," Lyra whispered after a moment. Aaron smiled. "Good, and you're learning more every day." They rested for the night inside the cavern. The storm passing outside, the faint glow of crystals illuminated the space, casting patterns of light across their faces. Aaron watched Lyra sleep briefly, marveling at how delicate and strong she seemed at the same time. When she awoke, she looked at him and offered a small smile. Aaron returned it. There was no need for words, just trust and understanding. The next day, they explored further into the forest. Lyra led them to hidden paths, small clearings filled with unusual plants, and floating crystal platforms. She seemed to know where danger might appear. Guiding the team carefully, Aaron noticed how humans and Lyra were beginning to adapt to each other. She learned human gestures, and they learned to interpret her subtle expressions. Communication was no longer just words, it was trust, observation, and shared experience. At one point, they reached a cliff overlooking a valley of glowing plants. The view was breathtaking, stretching as far as the eye could see. Lyra stepped close to the edge, her glow reflecting the landscape. "You see it too, right?" Aaron said softly, standing beside her. She blinked and nodded. Aaron smiled. He felt a deep sense of connection, not just with Lyra, but with the universe itself. This planet, the creatures, the glowing force, it all seemed alive in a way humans had rarely witnessed. They camped that night under the open sky, the twin moons reflected in the floating rivers, and the forest hummed gently around them. Aaron sat near Lyra, showing her images of Earth again. She touched the holographic images, her glow pulsing gently. "You're very beautiful," Aaron said once more, this time meaning not only her appearance, but her courage, intelligence, and heart. Lyra's cheeks glowed brighter, and she tried to speak. A soft sound came out, almost musical. She looked at him, her expression shy but full of warmth. Aaron chuckled softly. "You don't have to say it yet, I understand." As they drifted to sleep, Aaron realized that this bond, human and alien, exploring the unknown together, was something extraordinary. It was not only about survival or discovery, it was about connection, understanding, and learning from each other. And in that quiet moment, under the twin moons of Lumina 5, Aaron knew that the adventures ahead would test their courage, their trust, and the strength of their bond, but he also knew that together they could face anything. Captain Aaron stepped carefully on the soft, glowing ground of Lumina 5. The planet stretched out before him like a dream. Floating rivers shimmered in the light of two suns, and tall, crystal-like trees swayed as if they had a rhythm of their own. He adjusted his helmet and glanced at the small team following him. "Stay close," he said. "We don't know this place well yet." The team nodded, their suits glowing faintly under the alien sunlight. They had been sent here to study Lumina 5, a planet humans had recently discovered on the edge of explored space. Reports said it had strange life forms and unusual energy patterns. Some of the scientists were nervous, but Aaron had always loved the unknown. As they walked, the ground beneath them hummed softly. It was not loud, but it vibrated in rhythm with the glowing rivers. Aaron had studied reports of bioluminescent creatures and plants, but nothing had prepared him for this. Everything here seemed alive, even the air itself. Suddenly, he noticed a movement at the edge of a crystal grove. A shape, small and delicate, was peeking from behind a tall, translucent tree. Aaron froze. He raised a hand to signal his team to stop. "Do you see that?" he whispered. The figure stepped forward slowly. It had smooth, shimmering skin that reflected the sunlight like water. Its eyes were large and glowing, filled with curiosity and caution. It looked human in shape, but unlike anything Aaron had ever seen. "Is it intelligent?" asked Lyra, the team's biologist. Aaron didn't answer. He took a careful step forward, his hands raised to show he meant no harm. The creature didn't run. Instead, it tilted its head, observing him. "Hello," Aaron said softly. "I am Aaron. We come in peace." The alien blinked. Then, it stepped closer. It seemed unsure but curious. Aaron noticed it had small, delicate hands, and when it moved, the light in the environment seemed to shift slightly. Aaron motioned for his team to stay back. "Let's give it space," he whispered. The alien reached out a hand, as if to touch the glowing ground. Aaron smiled gently. He knelt down slightly, making himself smaller and less threatening. "You're safe here," he said. The alien stepped closer, until it was just a few meters away. Its eyes seemed to examine him, almost like it was trying to understand the strange being in front of it. Then, it did something Aaron had not expected. It mimicked his gesture, raising its own hands the same way he had. Aaron's heart raced. This was incredible. The creature was intelligent, observant, and able to communicate in its own way. "Can it speak?" Lyra whispered. Aaron shook his head. "Not yet, but it's learning." They spent hours observing each other. The alien, whom Aaron later learned to call Lyra in gestures, stayed close but cautious. It seemed to enjoy watching humans and sometimes tried to copy small movements. Aaron showed it simple signs for peace, food, and safety. Lyra responded carefully, blinking slowly and nodding at times. As they explored deeper into the glowing forest, Aaron and his team noticed something strange. The ground beneath them shifted suddenly, and a section of floating rocks tilted dangerously. A sharp crystal shard broke loose and fell toward Lyra. "Watch out!" Aaron shouted, running forward. Without thinking, he grabbed her arm and pulled her away just before the shard hit the ground. Lyra's eyes widened, and she stepped back, unsure. Aaron held his hands up. "It's okay. You're safe," he said gently. She blinked slowly. Then, she did something unexpected. Her cheeks glowed faintly, a color shifting with the light of the forest. Aaron felt a warmth in his chest. It was the first time he realized how human she seemed in her reactions. "You're very beautiful," Aaron said softly. Almost without thinking, for a moment, Lyra froze. She didn't move. Her eyes widened, and a faint blush spread across her glowing cheeks. She opened her mouth, but no words came out. She looked away, shyly, and hid her face behind her hands. Aaron felt a strange joy, not because of the blush itself, but because of the connection it hinted at. Even in this strange, alien world, two beings could recognize kindness and admiration in each other. The team continued their exploration, but Aaron found his attention returning to Lyra again and again. She moved gracefully, almost like a part of the glowing forest itself. When she looked at him, it felt as if she could see his thoughts. As they walked through a crystal cave, the walls reflecting the sun's light like mirrors, Aaron noticed more signs of life. Small, luminescent creatures darted along the walls, and faint trails of energy pulsed through the air. Lyra seemed fascinated, touching the walls carefully and watching the reactions. Aaron smiled. "She's curious," he said to Lyra. "Just like us." The team set up camp inside the cave. Aaron sat near Lyra, trying to communicate. He showed her images on a small holoscreen, pictures of Earth, humans, and animals. Lyra tilted her head, blinking slowly. She reached out and touched the screen, her glowing fingers tracing the shapes of trees and rivers. At night, the cave lit up with a soft, bioluminescent glow. The floating rivers outside reflected the stars above, making the whole cave feel like it was part of the sky. Aaron felt calm. He watched Lyra, who sat quietly, observing the world with wide, shining eyes. "Do you think she understands us?" Lyra asked quietly. "I think she understands more than we think," Aaron replied. "Sometimes, it's not words that matter. It's trust. And she's learning to trust us." Lyra turned her eyes toward him, her gaze steady but soft. Aaron smiled again. He felt a strange sense of responsibility. This world was beautiful, dangerous, and full of unknowns, but he had a new purpose now: protecting Lyra, learning from her, and building a bridge between humans and this alien life felt more important than anything else. As they all rested, a soft wind passed through the cave. Lyra's glowing skin shimmered in the light, and for a moment, Aaron felt the weight of the universe in that simple presence. The human and alien, standing together in a strange, glowing world, both aware of the other, yet still discovering the language of trust and friendship. And in that quiet moment, Aaron thought again, she really is beautiful. Lyra's eyes met his, and her glowing blush deepened. She tried to speak, opening her mouth, but only a soft, unformed sound came out. She looked away, hiding her face shyly. Aaron chuckled softly. It was the first time he had seen her truly human in reaction, shy, thoughtful, and aware of a compliment meant for her heart as much as her form. The night passed slowly. Outside, the floating rivers reflected the twin moons, casting soft shadows across the crystal forest. Aaron thought about the challenges ahead: dangerous creatures, unpredictable environments, and the mysteries of Lumina 5. But for now, none of that mattered as much as the small connection he had formed with Lyra. It was the beginning of something new, something that could change the way humans saw themselves and the universe, something that could teach them that even in the farthest reaches of space, kindness, trust, and admiration could build bridges between worlds. And as the first light of the twin suns touched the crystal cave, Lyra looked at Aaron again. This time, she smiled a small, shy gesture that lit up her glowing face. Aaron returned the smile, knowing that this was only the start of a journey that would test courage, friendship, and the limits of what it meant to be human.